Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. This is called Tom's Guitar Show, and I'm called Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. Call me on the phone, they say, "Hey man, what's your show about?" I say, "Well, it's about an hour. It's about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic." So here's the deal. This is not a call-in show because actually I'm live from Uptown Bill's Coffee House. I would say that if you're out loitering in the streets and it's Tuesday night and you're not watching the Friday rerun, then come on down to Uptown Bill's and be part of the live studio audience. And people are filtering in as we speak. So anyway, so this is my live show, and this week we're going to talk about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic, but also sound, music, and maybe the importance of music and the importance of sound. And it seems people ask me what the show is about this week, and so it's about an hour, and it's about sound, the sound of a telephone. So I had all kinds of elaborate ideas about this show, and there's a show I kind of want to do here where I bring the string bass and the mandolin and the guitar and the banjo and everything. I loop them all together and make a huge one-man band thing, you know. But that's a lot of stuff to carry. So changed my mind several times about what I was going to bring, and decided to bring this, because this is my Godin ACS guitar, which is an electric classical guitar. But not only that, it's also a guitar synthesizer. So I'm just going to have fun with that for an hour or so. readers up here in a minute. Oh, hey, thank you. All right. That's right. I usually don't do this show in front of a live audience. In front of the same old gang, you know. One thing I thought is that I know that Bob has a few things he can read, and see, you would.
Gotta get one of the other guys first now.
Oh, okay. Well.
Do the camera or whatever.
Yeah, you want to do the camera for a second?
He wants to read.
Bob, why don't you come up here for a minute while I fiddle around with my synthesizer? You got a couple. You can see. Bob's going to be my in-between guy, and Skopinski here can put the camera on him, and we'll. Sorry, we're talking about stage directions from. But I got to fool around with my synthesizer here.
Okay. Tom asked me to bring in some wise sayings this week. This first group actually is wise. From Mark Twain, we have all generalizations, including this one, are false.
That's good. I like that.
From Galileo, all truths are easy to understand once they're discovered. The point is to discover them.
That's true.
The rest are anonymous. This group, a closed mouth gathers no feet.
That's good. That's really good.
A chain is as strong as its weakest link. A mind changed against its will is of the same opinion still. In most organizations, 10% of the people do 90% of the work, and 90% of the people do 10% of the work. Measure twice, cut once.
That's good. That's good advice. Craig, do you want to see if they're ready to roll that thing? Craig's brought something in for us here.
Sure. So Tom said the theme was going to be the power of sound and importance of music, and it tied in quite nicely with a family history project I've been working on. Sound and music evoke emotion and memories like other senses. Ambient sound effects enhance and set the mood in movies and radio stories. But these audio elements are invaluable in the movie of our life as well. The family history project I'm working on involves pairing audio from our family's old audio or reel-to-reel tape player with some family photos. On these tapes, I've found voices of many of my relatives, some of who died decades ago. My grandpa, Willard Jarvie, was a singer and musician, and I found audio of him singing and playing accordion. So I've paired the audio of Willard singing side by side with family photos of my grandma and grandpa and their children and their grandchildren. Now the song Side by Side had special meaning for my grandma and grandpa because during the Great Depression they were a young married couple with a growing family, and the song is about depending on each other when they didn't have a lot of money. So if you can hear me in the booth, if you can cue up the Side by Side video and play it, and then I'll say a few words after it's done. So I made this in iMovie, and it's has some relevant photos. You'll see photos of my grandpa and grandma most prominently.
Oh, we ain't got a barrel of money. Maybe we're ragged and funny, but we've traveled along, singing our song side by side. Through all kinds of weather, what if the sky should fall? For as long as we're together, it doesn't matter at all. When others have their clothes and parted, we'll be the same as we started. Just travel along, sharing a song side by side.
This video is especially valuable and powerful since my grandpa died in 1970, and I don't believe there are other audio recordings of him. This was a time before VHS tape, and the only Super 8 millimeter movies we had didn't have sound. So these sound recordings are treasured family mementos, as treasured as any photograph of any movie. So after posting the videos on Facebook, my family made some of these comments, again, to kind of illustrate the power of the video. Now, these comments aren't necessarily specific to this video, but ones like it. I love this version with the pictures. Nicely done, cousin. The sound quality on this one is great. Craig, you are awesome for putting these together. Such wonderful memories. That one brings tears to my eyes. Thank you for sharing. If we could only go back and relive all those fantastic memories we have of our grandparents. Sometimes I miss them so. Priceless. This is great. He left a big hole in our hearts, and we will always miss him. Thanks for posting. So great to hear Grandpa Jarvie's voice and see the pictures of him. It is good to hear this. I was only 7 when he died. That was from my cousin, who we happen to be the same age. Jim talks about him. That's one of my cousins. It sounds like he was an amazing man, and somebody wrote just love, love, love. So these memories are meaningful to a wide number of people, not only people who knew my grandpa, but later generations as well.
I think it's very, oops, just fell off my stool here. That was very nice. I think that, we remember things, like songs go through your head from years ago. And actually, one thing I read an article about, actually read several articles about how whatever song was popular when you were in high school will forever stick in your mind. And I think that's why those of us in the music business have a responsibility to have decent music out there so that the poor high school kids can, when I was a kid, here I'm reminiscing, now we're all reminiscing, when I was a kid I had an 8-track player in my car, which shows you how old I am, And I had the Julian Breen playing the Villalobos Guitar Concerto with the London Symphony or something, and playing. And then I also had the Rodrigo Concierto de Aranjuez and the Fantasía para un Gentilhombre, so Rodrigo guitar concertos. So I had Julian Breen blasting out the windows of my Ford Fairlane, and when I drove around. So that's what goes through my head. When I hear the Aranjuez, I think of my golden youth. But I mean, we had the Doobie Brothers too. Thanks. Well, Hillary, do you want to come up here and read something for us? This is all about the power of music.
Thanks, Tom.
What about tone here?
Well, I have a piece called What Music Teaches, and it's by Marilyn Chandler McIntyre from her website. And on the website, it appears as a list, so I don't know if it was meant to be a poem or at least poetic. her website does not indicate whether she is a musician or not. It's about other things. So, what music teaches? Sound depends on silence. What music teaches? Each note deserves its moment of complete attention. What music teaches? Scales are play space. What music teaches? She who hears with her whole heart is also making music. What music teaches? Dissonance and harmony are not opposites. What music teaches? Sometimes the smallest instrument carries the melody. What music teaches? A musician's work is play. What music teaches? A melody is a story. What music teaches? It will happen again, but it won't be the same. What music teaches? The limits of the instrument are its possibilities. What music teaches? What comes up must come down. What music teaches? The piccolo makes a difference. What music teaches? Words can't say everything.
I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you very much. Since I'm reminiscing, I have an anecdote. I remember when I was part of the duet of Raimundo y Tomas, we were talking to somebody who was a dancer. And I'll move this mic a little. But when she was talking about music, she was talking about her brother. And she said her brother took guitar for a while, but her teacher had him playing scales. I thought, well, scales set you free, man. Scales are like, that's your playground, I mean, that's what, because you got your diatonic scales, you got your, it's a major scale. Slightly out of tune, right? That's fun. Then you got its relative minor. I play this character sometimes who has a cap and gown, looks like a professor, and it's Professor Chalk and Talk. A relative minor is not your uncle who digs for coal. So, all right, sorry, but anyway, so you have that's a natural minor. It's perfectly natural, and then you have your harmonic minor, where you sharp the seventh tone. I mean, what could be more fun to play with than that? I mean, it's like freedom, man. Sorry, I'm getting enthusiastic. And then, of course, you got your gypsy scale, which is when you flat the second tone, sharp the third, and the seventh. I Of course, kids do say the darndest things. When someone was telling me, they said, "Why do they even put frets up there? Nobody ever plays up there anyway." But I figured I paid for those frets, man. I'm going to pay. So, Mr. Kopinski, you want to come up here real quick? You got something for us? Yeah.
Your request.
You requested something on Adam Dalal.
Oh, yes.
Now you remember. Okay.
Of course. 2 weeks ago, though. I mean, a lot of water under the bridge.
Well, it's certainly representative of a fine musician, and since we're talking about the importance of music, and also bridging words in music. And most of this is based on an essay by a gentleman named Thomas Dickey. And just to clarify, you pronounce French so elegantly. I remember him as somewhat of de la Halle when I took music.
Oh, yeah.
It's spelled Adam, as we would spell it, and then de la, and then Halle. And you can find him on YouTube. So if you want to hear examples of his music, that's an excellent source.
Well, not him, he's dead.
His
His music, I'm sorry.
Recreations of his music.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, he's certainly dead. His era, dates are roughly 1237 to 1288, so he's almost 1,000 years old there. Occupies a unique position astride two trends in music history. On the one hand, he was the last of the Trouvères, bringing to a close the brilliant early flowering of old French lyric poetry. On the other hand, Adam mingled this traditional monophonic composition with the more esoteric form of the 13th century motet, and performed the first experiments in polyphonic secular song. In this respect, he placed himself squarely in the middle of the stylistic trends that would come to the greatest fruition in the next century, with the Ars Nova of Philippe de Vitry, and preeminently in the figure of Guillaume de Machaut. Sadly, for a poet and musician of such versatility and prowess, not a single piece of datable documentation for his life survives. The form of his name, and later manuscript attributions, tell of his birth in the city of Arras, a positive hotbed of literary culture 80 miles north of Paris. Another form of his name, Le Boscu, suggests a handicap or even a hunchback, but Adam in a late poem denies this disability. His father, Henri, was well educated and probably a cleric and civic employee who died in 1290. Adam's wife, named Marie, may have died in Arras in 1287. Adam himself is often described as maestre, we would say master, indicating his completion of some advanced studies. These took place either at an abbey or more likely in Paris. Adam also certainly participated in the lively activities of Arras literary societies. He died in Italy sometime between 1285 and 1289. Adam Dalal produced a remarkable body of works. Unlike the majority of the Trouvère poets, whose songs survive in large anthologies, several manuscripts attempt to collect music only of his. So that indicates how highly he was regarded in the day. He composed 36 chansons, we would say songs, I guess, in the Trouvère tradition, and a number of other compositions, including pastoral drama with music, Le Jeu des Robins et des Marions, which is often dubbed the first comic opera. He completed French motets and other works. I think the important thing is he was important in bridging. He comes out of an era where word and music are still very tightly intertwined. So he's considered both a poet and a musician. And as a trouvère, or a troubadour, he was composing both poetry and then playing the music to it. But what's really important about his accomplishment is he began to write polyphonic secular music. And that's the distinguishing feature of Western art music, is polyphony, the writing more than one line together. And originally it was based on church music. It comes out of the sacred music. And so he's one of the first persons who brings it into secular music. And that's as important. And he's right at the center of a very, very prolific period where Western music is really advancing from basically Gregorian chant, which you would have heard in the 9th century. By this time, it's polyphony, and then it reaches its peak in the medieval era with Machaut. So it's a really important period of time in music, and like I say, YouTube is a very good source. There's a number of his songs that have been picturized, and you can hear it and hear what it sounds like. And Tom, you're a troubadour, I think.
A trouvère.
Troubadour, yes.
Yes, it's yeah, thank you. Maybe he was one of the first singer-songwriters. What do you think? We were talking about this in the show a couple weeks ago, or after the show, I guess, or maybe it was during the show. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But we were talking about Adam DeLau and his legacy. And the reason I knew about him was, like, many years ago, I got a book, which I still have someplace, I can't seem to find it, called 7 Centuries of Guitar Music. And this was the, I attempted actually to give a concert, or actually I did several times, called 7 Centuries of Guitar Music, where I would set up all these guitars across the stage, and I would go play them all. You know, I have an antique here, and I had a lute, I had a vihuela and some other things. And then I had this bright red Stratocaster for the last, you know, for the little cherry on top for the end of the, so, but anyway, I had this book, and you know, it had all these pieces in it, from everywhere from Adam DeLau with a piece called "Come With Me, My Giselle," which, of course, I was planning to play and have the music for me in front of it, but I forgot, you know, because I'm preoccupied. But I think it goes something like this. This is one of his tunes, and I think he might have been the inventor of the love song. Yes, I've heard that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if any of this stuff is true, man, but so, like, this is "Come With Me, My Giselle." I don't know who Giselle was, but she's probably no longer with us. She'd be getting pretty long in the tooth. But... Do you have anything else, Bob? I was gonna do something else here, and then we got to get Craig up here. But
We've discussed before that there are two kinds of people: those who think there are two kinds of people, and those who don't.
that's right.
And in adages, there are two kinds of people. Some people think birds of a feather flock together. Other people think opposites attract. Some people think the early bird gets the worm. Some people think better late than never. Some people think nothing ventured, nothing gained. Some people think better safe than sorry.
Yes.
Some people say, beware Greeks bearing gifts. Others say, never look a gift horse in the mouth.
Huh.
Some say you're never too old to learn, and others say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Some say many hands make light work, and some say too many cooks spoil the stew. So,
that's very good. So are these true or not? The answer is yes. Before I was going to do this thing. I thought it was silly, but I'm going to do it anyway. This is my Gregorian chant set on the preset on my Roland GR33 synthesizer here. So like. Thank you, guys. What does Conquerors sound like? I forgot. Craig back up here, and folks down the control room, they got everybody to cue that that video up there.
Sure, you can be on this camera. My family lived in Billings, Montana when my dad bought a Sony tape recorder in 1967 or 68, and I was 4 or 5 years old. There's a lot of recordings of my immediate family, my younger sister, who's 4 years younger than I am, and she was just learning to talk. And a person's voice changes over time, and so it's such a surprise to hear voices from childhood come back. There's recordings of me reciting nursery rhymes, reading fairy tales, and also singing. This video has me singing My Home's in Montana, and I'm a Cowboy Boy. And again, I've matched the audio with photos of me and my family, and the 4th of July Red Lodge, Montana parade and rodeo, which you'll see, which fits in nicely with the music. So if you can play the My Home's in Montana video, and then afterwards I'll again talk about the power that that video has had and some of the comments I've received on Facebook.
My home's in Montana, wear a bandana. My pony is gray. My spurs are of silver. My pony is gray. With galloped ranges, my luck never changes. Now I'm gonna sing. I'm a cowboy boy. I'm a cowboy boy, so I'm not fair off. I ride my pony every day with my big toe hook. My shop's so gay. Ki-yi-yippee, 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 yippee-yay. Ki-yi-yippee, 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 yippee-yay. Ki-yi-yippee, 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 yippee-yay.
And so I'm going to read you some of the comments, and again, these aren't necessarily all specific to this particular video. Love the pics. It's so great you're doing this. How cute is that? Is that really your voice circa 1968? Oh wow, that was absolutely fantastic. Keep them coming. Oh, that was wonderful. It made me cry. Great combo of audio and video. Again, words cannot describe what you have done. How cute is this? Amazing. Now that put a smile on my face. This is often discussed, but music is plentiful early in life. Kids are more likely to sing, play an instrument, and enjoy doing it. It sounded like I enjoyed singing. I didn't know all the lyrics or in the right order, but it didn't seem to matter. I just switched songs when I ran out of steam. I don't sing any longer. I never pursued or studied music professionally or personally. I don't go to karaoke night and confidently take the mic. When I tried singing on the Rock Band video game, I could only hit the correct pitch about half of the time. I don't know if it's adults are more self-conscious, or we go through a discovery of where our talents lay, or discovery that others are more talented. For whatever reason, for some people, including me, the impulse to spontaneously sing seems to be lost with age. But with these audio recordings, at least I can reminisce about what it was like.
Very good. You have changed quite a bit, though, Craig. You have changed. But there's a lot in what you say. But because I'm reminiscing again. Forgive me. But years ago, I used to kind of do things in the theater department at the University of Iowa. I kind of helped out. I was like the best guitar player in the theater department, you see, because anyway, because I wasn't an actor, and never mind. So it's like cheating, but anyway, so I had one day I had Big Kids Story Time, which was for kids who are not yet in kindergarten. So there's like basically out of diapers, but not yet in kindergarten. So it was like 3 and 4 year olds basically. And I did a thing for them at the library, and then I had to hightail it over to the theater department and do a similar sort of thing in a way for the playwrights workshop. And these were graduate students who were writing plays. Many of them were older than, they were like older than the college students. They were, people who were going back to school. So I discovered though that the kids at the Big Kids Storytime were a lot less inhibited as far as their inhibitions were much less as far as performance and so forth. And these graduate students were very uptight about anything musical. So, anyway. But anyway, this show is about music and the power of sound and how important music really is to us. And if you go to my Twitter feed, anybody who's out watching, you go to tomsguitarshow.com or tomsguitarstudio.com. You'll see the Twitter feed. And several tweets ago, there was one about the power of music, and there's an Oliver Sacks, a link to a video of Oliver Sacks going to an old folks' home, I guess you'd call it, and there's an old man who had some dementia, and basically was not communicative. And then they put the headphones on him and gave him an iPod and had him played old music from when he was a kid, like Cab Calloway was one of his favorites. And he lit up and he became verbal, and they got him back when he was listening to music. It's actually quite moving little video, and I recommend watching it. And you can get it if you go to the Twitter feed of Tom's Guitar Studio or tomsguitarshow.com. Just go to tomsguitarshow.com on the computer, and there you go. Tap it in there and click on the one that's about the power of music, like maybe 5 tweets down or so, and see what that is. I've often worried about people who want to be big shots and stuff. I've known people who cause a lot of trouble for others because they want to be a real big shot. And I don't really want to be a big shot, but I want to do something. I want my life to be about something. So what's life about? Well, about 90 years if you're lucky. But no, I mean, I like to. So I've been thinking for years now about trying to do Tom's Guitar Show as a live stage show, just to try to teach people, or just at least help people to learn to listen to music. Because I think, well, here I'm going to reminisce again. Okay, so I was teaching a class at the community college, and there was a guy, a lab tech guy, researcher, whatever, from India, I believe, and taking the class as something, because he spends most of his time in the lab. He wanted to do something else. So he asked me, you want to know what's going on in the mind of a musician when they're playing? Because he said, you should write a book about this. You should write a book, because some of us, he said with his Hindustani accent, some of us spend all day in the lab and we wonder, what musicians are thinking about. And so I've been thinking about this for that was a long time ago. I mean, that was a long time ago when I used to teach that class. And it's true. So I think that, when you play music, you learn to listen to things differently. And last month we had the string band up here, adult string band. They're all students of mine. They're all, I guess one guy's in his 20s, but most of us are like over a certain age, a little gray hair here and there. And I know that all those people who study music and actually listen to things differently from passive listeners. I've noticed that people walk around with earbuds all the time, and they have this music pumped into their brains all the time, but whether or not they really understand what's going on or whether they really appreciate it is the question. And so what I want to do is put together a live performance where I maybe help to introduce people to music a little differently, so they learn how to listen differently. I wouldn't presume to teach people how to listen to music, but maybe offer a few insights. So that's why I brought my synthesizers, so I can make pretty sounds.